Let's head down to the New York Stock Exchange where trader Jonathan Corpina is standing by. Jonathan, good to see you. Busy week down there for you guys on the New York Stock Exchange floor. I got a note, an interesting new note in my box from Goldman Sachs just now. They do not expect a deep bear market, but that might suggest we might see a bear market. Do you agree with that?
Listen, I think the pressure that we've seen on the market has been warranted. This market has been waiting for an excuse to sell off, right? We had a terrific run up in 2019 with all these headwinds in front of us, and everyone was waiting for what the next catalyst was going to be. It was this unknown catalyst. We've got 10% coming off the top of the market. Is there more to it? I think there is, but I don't think we're going to see the panic selling that we've seen in the last few trading sessions. Investors and traders and everybody globally need to get more information as to what's happening here. We need more information, more transparency coming out of global governments. Once we start getting that, I think things will start to quiet down. But from a market point of view, from a technical point of view, and a fundamental point of view, I think we're getting to the end of the flush out. Today's the last day of the month. We're going to see continued high volume today. And I think today might be that opportunity where we'll see investors don't want to go home with risk on the table. We'll see it sell off today. And then I think next week kind of things settle down a bit.
You know, Jonathan, you and I have lived through a lot of big milestone market moments. I've interviewed you a bunch of times there from the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Talk to me about whether or not this time feels different, especially the speed at which we are seeing this sell-off. I mean, it just took 6 days for the major indexes to come off record highs and fall into correction territory. Does this time feel different?
You're right, Alexis. The volatility and the swings that we've seen are tremendous. The volumes that we've seen have really put a lot of pressure on our markets. And just yesterday, for example, it seemed like the market wanted to kind of rally back and come off the lows, and we started getting there, and then it runs out of steam. And the pressure, the power that we saw in the last hour and a half of the trading session yesterday was tremendous, the amount of volumes that we hit. So is this different? I think it is different because the speed in which everything is happening is different, but also what's behind it, right? 2008, 2009 financial crisis, this whole subprime mortgage discovery, came up and how that's affecting our economy and, how did we get there? This is kind of like an unknown headline, right? It's like a natural disaster type of headline that nobody could have predicted, and we still don't know what the fix is yet. So market reactions feel somewhat the same, but this is in a totally different category. This is a global crisis that we're looking at right now, and I think you have to put all political ties aside and all geopolitical issues aside. How do we curtail this selling that we're seeing in our markets and this virus? So I think the feeling is somewhat different.
John, what's the ultimate buy signal for you? What are you looking at? A specific stock, the VIX index? At what point do you say it's time to back up the truck?
Yep, Brian, there's a few things there. I mean, look, the VIX was trading as high as 46, 47 this morning, kind of coming off that. Historically, it's kind of hard to draw parallel lines historically when we're in an area that we kind of haven't seen before. What I like to look for is just some sort of stability in the market, right? We continue, if we open down 500 points today, and we start to see that kind of trend throughout the day and get some momentum towards the end of the day today, which I think will happen, I think, that could be a positive sign there. But what we've seen in many of the trading sessions, and then correlate to what we've seen in many of, the last 4 or 5 Fridays, is hard selling into this market. No one wants to go long over the weekend, and the risk trade comes off the table. So I think if we don't see that selling pressure at the end of the day today, that might be a sign for me, or that's the sign I'm looking for that will lead us into next week.
I like the idea of a little stability back in this market. Jonathan Corpina, thanks as always. Live for us.
Thanks. Have a great weekend.
From the Exchange, you too.
Hey investors, Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.